Tonight on News 5 Live, 3 persons are brutally killed over the long weekend. In Belize City, a man is shot as he held his son. The body of another man is discovered in a shallow grave in Orange Walk. And in Cowpen Village in Stank Creek, another man is chopped to death. 3 persons die in separate traffic accidents. Melvin Budna is charged for the 2017 murder of Alvaro Aldana, while police look for a Guatemala national who is a suspect in the murder of Juan de la Cruz Carillas last week. And a school in Belize City is burglarized. Burglars stole laptops, projectors, electronic stoves, cash, all mounting to an estimated value of $7,000. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
For those who like to have unlimited options in life, don't let limits hold you back.
Prepaid and hybrid customers can go unlimited with Smart's Unlimited.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, October 15th. I am Marlene Cuellar. 3 persons were brutally murdered over the extended weekend. We start with the deadly and brazen shooting of Troy Polonio Jr. on Monday night. Polonio Jr. was on Raccoon Street, where he had just picked up his girlfriend and young son. He was holding the toddler when a gunman trailing him opened fire, hitting him in the chest. Luckily, the toddler was not injured. News 5's Isani Cayetano reports.
A young father was shot and killed in the presence of his infant son on Monday night in Belize City. The gunman, whom it is believed may have followed him to this address on Raccoon Street, spared him no mercy, firing twice upon the unsuspecting target in plain view of others who were gathered inside the yard. Troy Polonio's father just happened to have been in the vicinity when he saw the alleged killer make good his escape on foot.
Well, yesterday approximately after 8 minutes to 9, I was going home. Upon reaching the intersection with Raccoon Street and the street by the police station, I saw a guy across the street running. You know, he'd run and I wondered to myself, why this dude run like that? I said I should have followed him. But then, upon crossing the street, I look to my right. When I look, I say, right by my son, baby, my house. I say, move somebody. So I swing there, I say, Troy, all right? I said, no, Troy goes to get shot.
According to Polonio's mother-in-law, who asked to remain unidentified, he had stopped by moments earlier to pick up his girlfriend and their son before returning home. He was standing next to this vehicle when someone pounced on him and opened fire. The grandmother, amid the chaos of gunfire, ran to the toddler's rescue, unbeknownst to her that Troy was under attack.
He didn't know to pick up his son. No, he don't have his son in his hand and he need to wait to see if he come. So now when Bali come, apparently my son may still have his son in his hand. Check so Bali also a leg shot. He put down his son and try head for cover and thing, but man was 2 shots. And when he put down his son, he shot him in his back. Check, the bullet guy in his back and rupture his heart and then he come out.
Police provided additional details at today's press brief.
Police responded and thereafter visited the KHMH where they found Troy Polonio with a gunshot injury to the chest. Investigation revealed that he was hanging on the street at that particular area when a male person came up and fired 2 shots at him. He was taken to the KHMH where he was pronounced dead on arrival.
Troy Polonio Sr. told News 5 that upon realizing that his son had been shot, he immediately attempted to set chase after the individual whom he observed moments earlier fleeing along Curacao Street.
So I said, don't put in a vehicle, so I reversed down and pursued the guy down the street there. But when I got so now the policeman, they cut me off. So, you know, they stop and ask me all kind of dumb question. I try to explain to the man, well, yo, my son was shot, and you know, the guy just runs so in a white shirt, full white shirt, this, that. But he still interrogate me, boss, and the pull gun like I had the gunman. Anyway, so I try after they let me go, I gone around next street again, the same thing for about 3 times. So after that I had to call the pursuit off because I couldn't find, you know, I couldn't find who shot the man. When I come to the hospital, now I see my sister. And the way I see she the ball, I don't know while I see my son dead.
Troy Jr. was ruthlessly dispatched in a manner many would describe as a gangland execution. But was the 20-year-old affiliated with any of the Belize City gangs?
Investigators are looking into that, and I cannot confirm that at this time.
The grieving father, whose namesake son was callously taken away, has these words for Troy's killer.
I just have one question for you. I want to know why you want to deal with my son like that, brother? A lot of people out there, everybody know my son or no gunman, my son or this. Check, I want something like no scratch record. But at the fact, so I'm not going to deal with my son like that. So just give me a good reason why and I cool.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
In San Lazaro and Orange Walk, a search party followed a blood trail and made a gruesome discovery in a shallow grave off of Sugar Road on Sunday morning. They found the body of Haziel Samir Diaz 4 hours after they set out looking for him. Haziel, as he's popularly known, was murdered sometime between Saturday night and Sunday morning. His body was face down and a garbage bag covered his head and torso. The motive for the killing is under investigation, as Dalila Ikal found out.
Basis Samir Diaz was brutally killed sometime between Saturday night and very early on Sunday morning, and his body disposed of in a shallow grave at the edge of a cane field in the outskirts of San Lazaro village. But his killers were not thorough and left a trail that led to Diaz's body just hours after he was slain. The 33-year-old, we are told, would normally socialize within the village until very late, many times until the wee hours of the next morning, but he would always return home. However, after he left home last Saturday, he never returned. Juan de Dios Miguel, secretary of the San Lazaro Neighborhood Watch, was part of the team that searched for him.
He did not appear at home at 3 o'clock in the morning, and by 6:37 they called all their relatives and cousins with whom he was hanging out the day before, and none of Sunday morning, and none of them have seen or heard of Haziel since the day before around 6:30 in the evening. So, and that's when the family became more aware, and his sister started to patrol around the village to ask and inquire if they have seen her brother earlier, and nobody have seen him. And it so happens that she remember some of the areas that he usually takes traffic, right? It's a routine that he takes every day. She went by on the outskirts of the village, and then it was something, I do believe it's the intuition of a sister, that actually she observed parts of the cane field on the sidewalk that was smashed, and some of the leaves had blood. So she entered the nearby cane field, and then she saw a pool of blood, and she started screaming, and that's when the neighbors came out and asked her what is happening, and she started to shout. She thinks that blood is for her brother, and that's when the neighborhood watch was alerted, and the members we called each other and we came out.
By around 7 o'clock on Sunday morning, a search party was formed and began combing the immediate area, following a trail of blood that led further up a sugar road. The police were called in and soon joined the search.
They started to follow the blood, and it reached a point that the blood stopped. There was no sign of blood. So upon that, they entered the nearby bush, and the first thing that they found was the wheelbarrow with blood. So we asked them not to touch it and move from the area until the police comes, because the police was searching in another area. And that was the first one, and then we continued searching the area, and that's when the other group members found a shovel, and I don't know what you call the other one, like a hoe, around and nearby the sugar road with a green shirt full of blood. And that's when we decided, that means that the body is not far from here.
By this time, several more villagers, men and women, had joined the search. A member of the group looked in an area off another sugar road, and that is where Diaz's body was found.
It was a shallow grave, but apparently the people who did it uprooted the grass and left it on one side, and while they're digging, and they buried again the young man and just planted the grass again on top of the shallow grave like if nothing. But again, by that time he called the police, and he called certain members of the neighborhood, and at that time the police was coming on their way. That's when they just asked the people to leave the area, and they started investigating. When they started to dig, then indeed there was a human body that was in there.
Diaz was face down, and a large garbage bag covered his head and torso. Miguel says he was stabbed numerous times and his throat was slit. By the time he was found, it was about 10 o'clock in the morning. It took villagers and family members just about 4 hours to locate him. We are told that Diaz had not told his family where he was going on Saturday, when he left his house, or with whom. But the family moved quickly when he did not show up, because his sister last saw him with people she did not know between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock on Sunday evening.
According to his sister, she last seen him with a group of young men drinking on the end of the village. His sister was coming to visit her mom, and that's when actually she saw him with the group of friends but nothing strange or anything. The only thing that she mentioned that the three young men that he was hanging with are not from the village, and she doesn't recognize them, and that's what I'll actually, triggered her to go out and search for her brother the following day early in the morning.
The family was not at home when we visited the village, but we understand that they have their suspicions. However, no one is really sure why he was killed.
According to the family, they have suspects, right? They have suspect allegations of whom they might think it is at this point.
And why?
The motive, well, like I mentioned to you, the young man is well known by the law. He's well known by the law, and yes, and so there could be many, many factors towards it.
Reporting for News 5, Hipólito Novello.
This afternoon, Senior Superintendent Gilberto Romero spoke briefly on the discovery as well as the ongoing criminal investigation into Diaz's murder.
On Sunday, the 13th day of October 2019, police responded to a report that a shallow grave had been found in San Lazaro village. Upon their arrival, they discovered a shallow grave. The body was found lifeless. The body was identified as that of Hazid Diaz, 33 years, and he has various injuries to his body. Investigation revealed that he had left his house the day before and had not returned. Thereafter, families became concerned. They made a report and they began searching for him, and they came across this shallow grave. Post-mortem was conducted on this body, and again we are seeking 2 persons in connection to this investigation.
Okay, sir. Now, the last report was that he left home and then he was socializing. As far as the police know, did he have any exchange or misunderstanding with those persons with whom he was socializing?
Well, the investigation is ongoing at this time. That is all we have, that he was socializing with persons, and thereafter he was not seen, and then he was found dead in this shallow grave.
Sir, does Mr. Diaz have any criminal history?
Not that we know of, no.
A retired public officer was brutally killed inside his house sometime over the weekend. The neighbors suspect that he was murdered sometime between the hours of Friday night and early Saturday morning. The last time anyone reported seeing him was on Friday night, and when the neighbors didn't see any movements at his house the next 2 days, they became worried. Police officers were called out to the scene, and there they found Santiago Pop's body decomposing inside his house. Reporter Andrea Polanco tells us more in the following story.
58-year-old Santiago Pop, a retired rural development officer, was chopped to death inside his house in Cowpen village. Pop was last seen alive on Friday night. Neighbors became concerned when they didn't see Pop over the weekend, and those concerns grew when they saw dogs hanging around his house on Sunday. They went to take a closer look and saw bloody footprints outside of the door and a bad smell coming from inside. Chairman Victor Juarez, accompanied by the caretaker of the property and some villagers, were the first to arrive on scene.
Their neighbor had not followed his normal routines, which would be music, driving in and out, laundry. So after the second day that they noticed that this wasn't being followed, they decided to contact the representative of the landlord to try to come and find out if something was wrong with the individual who was renting the house. They were alerted by the presence of blood splatters and footprints near the entrance of the door. So that was the first worst sign of alert.
And that is when they called the police on Sunday evening after 6. When the authorities arrived, the door was closed, but it wasn't locked. And inside, they made the gruesome discovery. Pop's decomposing body was found lying on the floor with chop wounds to the back and head.
The body of the later on identified as Mr. Santiago Pop was discovered lying inside, apparently in a pool of blood, and he had apparent chop wound to the body. And he was classified dead at that time, and well, we consider that he was already at some level of decomposition because there was already a little smell coming out, which is what had attracted some dogs to the area.
According to Chairman Juarez, everything seemed to be in order inside Pop's house, and there was no sign of forced entry. Although Pop's wallet was reported missing, it doesn't appear that the killer or killers took anything else. Pop's almost brand new pickup truck was still parked in the yard. Juarez says they don't know why the retired public officer was murdered.
The only information that we overheard was that his wallet couldn't be found, but the vehicle keys were immediately found. The area didn't appear to be in any form of disorder or as if maybe a thief would have gotten in to try to do some form of burglary. Everything appeared to be in order, other than the unfortunate incident that led to his death. So that is what is puzzling the community even most, because they're wondering what could have happened to lead to this terrible crime within the community.
Police also don't suspect robbery as a motive for Pop's murder. They say that they don't have a suspect at this time and are hoping that the public can help to solve this crime.
No, we don't suspect that there was any robbery. His body was found, and we're asking the public's assistance if they have any information as to what transpired or what actually happened at that house. He was found there by himself, and he was living there by himself.
According to Chairman Juarez, Pop lived in San Juan for about a year, and only about 2 months ago he moved over to Cowpen. He's described as an easygoing man who got along with the villagers.
He was a very cool guy, very friendly. People who knew him in the working environment as the rural development officer would say that he was always willing to help, and they were happy to have worked with him, and that he was one of the best at what he did. And well, yes, he would be seen normally cruising around the village with his vehicle, and which meant that he was quite sociable.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
Coming up, 3 persons lose their lives in traffic fatalities on the highways.
Improving lives, delivering quality.
3 persons lost their lives in 2 traffic accidents over the weekend. The first fatality occurred just after midnight on Friday as Billy Lerma rode a Senke motorcycle on the George Price Highway in Santa Elena. When he reached the junction with Carrillo Puerto Avenue, he was struck by a pickup truck crossing the highway from Santa Cruz Road and into Carrillo Puerto Avenue. The motorcycle was extensively damaged and Lerma was left unconscious on the ground. The pickup received damages to its front bumper and headlight. Lerma was transported to the San Ignacio Community Hospital by police, but succumbed to his injuries while undergoing treatment. The driver of the pickup, Paul Wagner, was detained pending charges. News 5's Dwayne Moody was out west today and files this report.
Around 12:30 on Saturday morning, the sound of a collision echoed into the night in Santa Elena town. A motorcyclist had been hit by the driver of a pickup truck at the corner of George Price Highway and Carrillo Puerto Avenue in that western town. Minutes later, police arrived on the scene to find 26-year-old Billy Lerma unconscious on the ground with severe injuries to his left leg. He was rushed to the San Ignacio Community Hospital but perished while receiving treatment.
Police responded to a traffic accident in Santa Elena town. Upon their arrival, they found a motorcycle extensively damaged and a truck also was found at the scene. The driver of the motorcycle was identified as Billy Lerma, 26 years. He was taken to the San Ignacio clinic where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Again, an investigation is being carried out to determine who is at fault and whether anyone will be charged.
The incident occurud just outside where Errol Popper lives. After hearing a loud bang, he jumped out of bed to see the victim on the ground, and shortly after, a crowd of residents gathered.
My wife and I heard the bang, and we came out on the veranda, and we saw the truck and the position cross the road, and the motorbike on the side, and the guy standing over him, trying to revive him, but apparently they couldn't. They waited on the police to come, and the police took the guy to the hospital, and a crowd came in afterwards, and there were people all over the place.
News 5 has since learnt that Lerma was a part of a group of 4 motorcyclists. He was to the back of the group and the last to make it to the intersection when he was rammed by the pickup truck driven by 50-year-old Paul Wagner, who at the time was coming down the hill of Santa Cruz Road in a direction towards George Price Highway. Upon reaching the junction, he drove across the highway into Carrillo Puerto Avenue, hitting Lerma. Even though he wore a helmet, it is believed that Lerma hemorrhaged from the leg injury. Popper says that a speed bump was removed from the intersection when the highway was rehabilitated. He fears that unless something is done, many other accidents will occur.
This is a crossroad, and anywhere you go in the world, you have a speed bump or lights, but there's none of that here. And ever since they finished with this part of the road, I told everybody that comes here, we are going to have some more accidents here and people will die. And that I would put the blame squarely on the people that work this place, because there was a speed bump there before.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Also on Saturday, a collision between a James passenger bus and a motorcycle claimed the lives of a pair of cousins. Just before 6 p.m. at the intersection of the Southern Highway and the Savannah Road, a James bus collided with a motorcycle being ridden by Fidel and Edgar Cho. According to information gathered so far, the bus was heading towards Independence Village when it hit the motorcycle from behind. The impact sent the Cho cousins flipping to the pavement. Colville Cho died on the spot. Fidel was rushed to the Independence Polyclinic but succumbed while receiving treatment. Senior Superintendent Gilberto Romero says that statements are being recorded, but bus driver Jaylon Gomez has since been served with a notice of intended prosecution pending further investigation.
Police responded to a report of a traffic accident on the Southern Highway Upon their arrival, they found a GM's bus and a motorcycle on the right-hand side of the road. The bus had damages to the bumper. The motorcycle received extensive damages. Information received that two persons were on motorcycle, namely Fidelcho and Colvilcho. They received injuries at the scene. They were taken to the clinic where both of them passed away thereafter. Investigation is ongoing at this time. The driver of the bus has been issued with a notice of intended prosecution.
Sir, he has. Is there an indication who failed to stop or to give way since it's a junction? Like, who had the right of way then?
The bus was traveling towards Independence, and the motorcycle came in front of that bus at some point by that junction. Again, statements are being recorded, and at the end of that investigation, we will determine who was at fault and if any charges will be levied on the bus driver.
The Lake Gardens residence of Bicol CEO Lin Young was broken into over the weekend. The thieves, who were captured on surveillance camera as they entered the property, made off with Young's 2014 Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. On Monday, the former chief executive officer of Belize Electricity Limited took to social media requesting the public assistance in locating the stolen sports utility vehicle. This morning, Young visited the Ladyville police station where an official report was filed. It is unclear what was stolen from inside the home, but the front door was pried open. The value of the vehicle is also undetermined. Thieves also broke into the Buttonwood Bay Nazarene Primary School over the weekend and made off with $7,000 in cash and other items from the principal's office. According to Vice Principal Avril Arthurs, someone entered the second-floor building between Saturday night and Sunday morning by prying open the burglar bar door. Once inside, the thieves stole several laptops, a food processor, and monies that were to have been deposited on Friday. According to the assistant administrator, it is the first time that the school has been broken into.
One of the teachers came by to pick up a book. When she came to pick up the book, she noticed that the office was open on Monday. So she went to the office, and when she went to the office, she noticed that we were not there, but the office was in a mess. That's when she realized that a burglary had taken place. At that point, she had called the police, and after she called the police, she was trying to contact either the principal or myself. She got in touch with me first, and so I quickly came to the school after contacting our general manager. Upon arrival, that's when I was able to identify the items that were stolen, which included 2 laptops, the principal's laptop, and an open EMIS laptop that was given to us from the Ministry of Education. Along with that was also a projector, and we had cash that we were supposed to deposit on Friday, but we ran out of time. So you're looking at about $1,500 worth in cash. From the kitchen, they took a tabletop stove, as well as a food processor, some plates and cups, and cash that they found in the kitchen as well. Other areas of the office was not affected at all. It was mostly the principal's desk, my desk, and the areas that we would store whatever finances.
Is this the first incident as such?
It's the first that I'm aware of since the opening of this school.
Over the weekend in Belize City, a female was viciously assaulted outside of a nightclub near Mile 2 on the Philip Golson Highway. The incident was caught on camera, showing the young woman being dragged, pummeled, and beaten unconscious by 2 other women. The incident took place outside of Dreamlike City. Police say they are aware of the altercation and are conducting an investigation into the matter.
If there were any substantial injuries there?
That matter is being investigated, and I will have more details when I receive them.
Sir, but would you know what condition the woman who was beaten up is in?
I will check on that. I'm not familiar with that report.
The Belize Police Department has issued a wanted poster for Guatemala national Cesar Augusto Lopez Mendoza. Mendoza is wanted for the murder of 56-year-old Juan de Cruz Carillas, whose mutilated body was discovered in a wooden house in Sacats village on Friday morning. It is not known what motivated the vicious chopping death of Carillas, but the Santa Familia resident was last seen alive in the company of Mendoza and another man. Although police did not share the name of the second person, Senior Superintendent Gilberto Romero says that they are looking for both suspects. It is believed that Mendoza may have absconded to neighboring Guatemala.
We have 2 suspects we are seeking for this murder, and they have not been found.
Okay, sir. Now, we know that he lives in Santa Familia. Is it known what he was doing in Socots?
Well, he was there with 2 other male persons, and these are the persons we are seeking at this time.
Okay, now we have seen a wanted poster for one, let me pull out his name, Cesar Augusto Lopez Mendoza. Is it a concern that he is someone who may have absconded?
Searches are being done for them, but they have not been found. Information is that they fled from that village.
Okay, we know that Mendoza is a Guatemalan, and we know Socots is just a few miles from the Melchor border and countless illegal crossings. Is it a suspicion that he may be across the border?
Yes, there is a possibility that he made it across, as he has not been found or seen in that area.
Sir, no. Was there any motive? Was it, as some have alluded, might it have been of a personal nature?
The detectives are recording statements, doing interviews, and it will be determined thereafter what transpired, how the incident led to him being chopped to death.
Melvin Ray Charles Budna has been arrested and charged for the murder of Alvaro Aldana 2 years after he was shot and killed behind a store in San Ignacio. At the time of Aldana's murder, the 23-year-old was described as a well-known drug trafficker from the area. The stabbing and shooting incident happened February 19, 2017. After the break, washing your hands can't prevent the spread of infections. All this is coming up in an activity to mark International Infection Prevention Week. This week is being dedicated to raise awareness on the importance of vaccines in preventing diseases and protecting public health. Hand hygiene is an easy and effective way to prevent the spread of infections, according to the Ministry of Health. News 5's Hippolyta Novello reports on an activity held today to mark International Infection Prevention Week.
The 2019 theme for International Infection Prevention Week is Vaccines Are Everybody's Business. Engelbert Emmanuel of the Ministry of Health says that today's open day was aimed at building awareness in preventing healthcare-associated infections.
What we wanted to do for this activity is to demonstrate what are some of the activities that we do within the health facilities to prevent the spread of diseases, and also to share with the community what are some prevention measures that they can do to reduce risk factors associated with the spread of diseases.
Infection control nurse Lourdes Heredia says that the best practice to help prevent the spread of infection is hand hygiene.
Hand hygiene means cleaning your hands as often as possible, and we can do that by cleaning with soap and water or using an alcohol-based hand rub. In the healthcare facility, we recommend the WHO, the World Health Organization, 5 moments of hand hygiene, which has to do specifically for healthcare. Once you're with the patient, there are 5 different moments, 5 different times when you can or you should clean your hands. However, in the community setting, we still recommend the cleaning of hands as often as possible, especially before eating, after using the bathroom, which is the key to preventing certain infections.
According to Emmanuel, over the years, society has improved in healthy practices to prevent the spread of healthcare-associated infections.
Because of our culture, we know that one of the things is it takes some time for people to buy into specific things, prevention measures, for example, related to health. For example, hand hygiene. We would encourage visitors within the health facilities as they visit their family member or loved one within the hospital to wash their hands. Also, our healthcare professionals, we encourage them to continuously do hand hygiene. So sometimes because of the nature of the event or the condition at present, they tend sometimes to miss some steps, etc. And people tend to challenge us as we tell them to sterilize and do hand hygiene practices within the hospital setting. So I think culture is one of the things that impact us, but gradually we have been seeing some shift. We have seen cleaner environment. We have seen people disposing their waste in the proper areas then now. We have seen improvement.
Reporting for News 5, Hippolyta Novello.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams sustained minor injuries in a traffic mishap in Chile, where he's attending the 88th Interpol General Assembly. Traveling in was involved in a collision with a car that abruptly changed lanes without indicating. In a post, Williams explained the incident, assuring that he is well. It is confirmed that Dr. Colin Young will be moving to the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center in early January 2020. Young, we reported some time ago, is demitting office at Social Security Board, where he has been since January 2017. Previous to that, he served as CEO for the Ministry of Agriculture as well as the Ministry of Energy. He also holds a doctorate in ecology. Young takes over from Dr. Kenrick Leslie, who will be retiring from the 5 Cs at the end of the year, following a long and distinguished tenure at the regional center. When we come back, digital education is coming to 11 primary schools in Belize and Cayo district. A digital education program was launched today by the Ministry of Education in partnership with the OAS and two foundations. 11 rural schools will be equipped with tablets, laptops, and projectors, as well as digital content in math, English, and life skills. The program will teach the participating students to effectively use the information technology to develop ICT solutions. News 5's Hippolyta Novello reports.
For the past year, the Ministry of Education has been working with Telefonica Foundation and La Caixa Foundation with the support of the OAS to finalize the Pro Futuro for today's official launch. The program seeks to narrow the education gap by providing quality digital education for students of 11 participating schools.
It has been some hard work especially over the past months, as we prepared 2 weeks of training for some of our personnel minister and the two coaches that will support schools in Belize District and in the Cayo District. These are the 11 schools due to the guide that was given to us as to which schools we can use, wanting some of them to be in rural areas and some of them to be in hardship areas. So in putting all these together, we came up together with the district education centers a list of 11 schools for us to start the program with.
The Pro Futuro education solution focuses on the teacher community as the key factor for educational transformation.
The program was launched globally in 2016, and since then, Pro Futuro has signed agreements with over 60 partners.
The OAS welcomes this collaboration, particularly that it will make learning more exciting and relevant to our students, while developing applicable ICT solutions to everyday challenges. In this connection, the Pro Futuro program will complement the existing efforts of the Ministry of Education by expanding digital education through the provision of hardware that includes tablets, laptops, and projectors, as well as deliver digital content in math, English, and life skills to impact 11 schools with a combined enrollment of over 3,000 students in 2 major districts.
Today's launch signifies a partnership which aims to improve education, promote inclusiveness in the use of accessible ICTs, and empower teachers and students with skills to change along with changing times.
Active learning leads to innovation. Technologies represent an opportunity to transit from purely transmission-based teaching models to active learning models. We need to prepare our students to learn how to learn, to be passionate about learning new things, to be more autonomous, and to create sustainable solutions to the challenges their communities face.
Reporting for News 5, Hippolyta Novello.
Hurricane Dorian pounded the Bahamas for days in early September, causing loss of life and devastating damage to the islands of Abaco and Grand Bahamas. The Belize Electricity Limited is deploying a team to assist the Bahamas Power and Light with restoration efforts on Abaco Islands. Team members Leroy Matura, Brian Gentle, Gregory Kerr, Althea Williams, and James Tayul left over the weekend and are scheduled to return to Belize in November. The BL team will work along with other utility companies in the region who are part of the Caribbean Electric Utility Services Corporation and also assisting the BPL with the rebuilding of its electrical infrastructure. 61 persons are known to have lost their lives due to Hurricane Dorian. Coming up after the break, know your stats and stay informed. SIB hosts an exhibition on the importance of statistics. Statistics are important in our daily lives. It keeps us accurately informed of what is taking place all over. The Statistical Institute of Belize, which one of the major agencies dedicated to go collecting data, hosted an exhibition to show why it is essential to be in the know in the various sectors of national life. Here is News 5's Hippolyta Novello.
Today, Belize joined CARICOM in observing Caribbean Statistics Day under the theme Building Resilience of the Caribbean Community. For the 6th year, the Statistical Institute of Belize has organized a national exhibition, inviting students to visit the booths of participating agencies and learn the importance of statistics.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to foster and develop a culture of statistics in Belize. We're trying to emphasize the importance of statistics and its uses. We try to present the information in a friendly format. We use infographics, we use videos, we use music to try to have them buy into the concept of statistics.
The exhibition saw the participation of several agencies that collect data and produce national statistics in various fields. Keaton Maurice is the Communications and Public Relations Analyst for the Central Bank of Belize.
We just wanted to introduce some financial concepts to the kids. So we have different displays. One will teach them about budgeting and saving. One will teach them about the concept of inflation. And then the other will teach them about the work that the Central Bank does. So we just want to get those ideas introduced to them in a simple and fun way that they can relate to, and then probably take it back to their parents, to their households, to their schools.
How has the reaction been so far?
Oh, really positive. The kids are really great at math. They're much better at math than I was at that age. They know the concept of budgeting. They just need to tighten it up a bit more. They have to understand the concept that just because you have a budget of $20, you don't have to spend all of that money all at one time.
Today's event explored the expectation on the need for statistics in specific areas such as gender, ICT, agriculture and health. Egnor Nath from the Ministry of Health says the process of producing quality data can be challenging.
It is very challenging to compile good quality data because they say in statistics garbage in, garbage out. So we usually have to do a lot of cleaning of the data in order to produce quality material such as this. And it's important that we have good data so we can give information to the decision makers, the project managers, to see where resources need to be sent and to see where problems lie. If a certain district needs more mental health services, for example, we can see, oh, they have a need that is not being met, and the data can show us that.
Reporting for News 5, Hippolyta Novello.
As part of Breast Cancer Awareness Month today, the Office of the Special Envoy for Women and Children, in partnership with the Belize Cancer Society, unveiled its 2019 Cancer Awareness Flyer. This year's photo shoot included 6 participants who are willing to tell their stories and become advocates. Special Envoy for Women and Children Kim Simplis Barrow says that this year's Cancer Awareness Flyer will underscore that cancer has no face and discriminates against no one. Barrow hopes that the flyer serves as a source of motivation for cancer patients to keep on fighting.
For us, it's very important to find creative ways of getting our ladies to do their self-breast examination and for them to get their mammograms. I think it's very important. It's a part of creating awareness, but it is also an opportunity for these ladies to take their lives back and to take control of who they are. We normally ask cancer survivors to participate in this photo shoot. So they are the actors they are actually the advocates. And why is that important? Why is it important to get other people to be advocates? Because cancer knows no age. It knows no ethnicity. And so we are all advocates, and it's important for them to use their journey, if they want to inspire others to get tested and to know that we can beat this and we can survive.
Up next, James Adderley has the rundown on sporting activities over the rainy weekend.
Sports Monday is brought to you by Berger Paints for lasting beauty and protection and the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. I am James Adderley. Welcome to Sports Monday on a Tuesday. It was an unbelievable 4-0 scored issue to the Belize national football team inside the Isidoro Beaton Stadium last Thursday night in CONCACAF Nations League play. In 4 outings, our team has 3 points to show from a record of 1 win and 3 losses. These 3 points came from yesterday's 1-0 away win over St. Kitts and Nevis. 2 minutes into the ball game, the St. Kitts keeper comes out of his goal to halt the Belize offense with this foul, for which the penalty call is made. Elroy Smith gets the nod, and he comes up with the most beautiful goal to get Belize onto the scoreboard. At the 38th minute, Dion Macaulay launches this under pressure on the run right foot grounder that just inches outside the far upright. In late second half play, Antonio Rocha could double the score with this left foot blast, but the ball rises over the crossbar. Well, at least Belize gets its first win in this 2019 Nations League tournament play against a team that gave them a 4-zip crunch right here in their hometown. Now let's head to the People's Stadium where the OW Gladiators hosted the Coast Guard Guardians. 17 minutes in, Cynthia Salazar converts this penalty to give the Guardians a 1-zip lead. Make it a 2-0 lead for the visitors after this corner kick from Nataki Alvarez, which finds Cynthia Salazar, whose header shakes the net at the 33rd minute. We're 2 minutes in to second half action when Cunha Callis sends this corner kick into the box. The defensive clearance reaches only as far as Nataki Alvarez, who makes it a Guardian 3-0 lead. Now watch Nadine Manzanero, who goes around Chanel Gentle to push the ball past the Guardians keeper. And we have a 3-1 ball game. In response, Chelsea Velasquez hooks up with Nataki Alvarez, frees up herself to launch a good-looking right foot shot that shakes the net to give the Guardians now a 4-1 lead. Cunha Callis makes her move to score. The OW keeper's intervention is not enough. Janelle Pott gets onto the scoreboard to make it 5-1. On the very next Guardian press, Gentle inadvertently takes down Sheila Pena. Chelsea Velasquez seizes the moment to get onto the scoreboard for the 6-1 lead. It's more Guardians when Chanel Gentle gets this open look at goal only to be denied by the keeper and Hele Flores. Cunha Callis wants her goal and she does get her goal to make it an 8-0 score at the 88th minute. Sarah Arzu seals the deal with this right foot shot that gives the Guardian the 8-1 big W. In other results, Verdes Rebels shook up Santa Elena Strikers in a whopping 11-0 rout. Stan Creek Jewels edged Toledo Divas 2-1 and Altitude Chicks beat Dangriga Warriors in a 3-1 affair. 5 athletes from the Belize Association of Master Athletes, they returned home on Monday after participating in the 22nd Central American Athletics Champions. At this level, it was staged in Guatemala from October 10th to the 13th. These are the results. Tricia Flores, she won gold in the 100 meters, in the 200 meters, in the long jump and in triple jump. Hey, you're still big, Tricia. Leslie Chung, she took silver in the 100 meters. Lawrence Craig, bronze in the shot put, silver in the long jump and gold in the triple jump. Fred Evans, still going strong. He got gold in javelin, silver in shot put and discus. Philip Andrew, now that's a big surprise. He won bronze in the shot put, gold in the 100 meters, in the 200 meters, high jump and long jump. Mr. Andrew, you're big. Turning to the basketball scene, the 2 finalists in the Inter-Office Leagues are Tough Enough and Dragons marched past the opposition in 2 straight wins apiece. We caught up with the Dragons in action against Mars in Game 2 at the Swift Center on Saturday night. Kevin Hamilton gets the Dragons rolling with this long deuce at 2 of his team high 11 points. Akeem Waters, he gets Mars going with this triple, and he would put up all of 14 points. And here is the big man Faisal Ahmad as he sinks this triple, and he would record the game high of 21 points. At the halfway mark, Mars leads 35-27. Dragons make a move in the third quarter. Gabriel Taylor works down low for 2 of his 10 game points. After the missed shot by Hamilton, Ian Rene, he gets 2 of his 9. Guess what? At the end of 3, Mars' lead is down to only 2 points. Arbon Rivera finds himself unattended in the fourth, and he stops and pops for 2. Faisal Ahmad, he answers with a triple as the ball game tightens. It's anybody's ball game now. Akeem Waters with the assist. Ryan Zuniga with the delivery for 2 of his 10 points. But Mars find themselves down at 2 points now. With less than a minute to go, Kevin Hamilton sinks 2 freebies as Dragons go up by 5. Dragons win game 2 of the semis with a 62-56 score and are headed to the finals. They will face Tough Enough, who also won 2 straight in the semis to make it to the big dance. Get ready for fireworks. Hey folks, that's our show for today. Hope you enjoyed it. We return to our regular schedule next week. Ja over all. I'm James Adderley.
Sports Monday was brought to you by Berger Paints for lasting beauty and protection, and the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Marlene Cuellar. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.